Only because he's my brother, I'll be patient. But I don't like him touching me. I don't like it.
It went in there.
It went
You just have
inside.
to catch it. I guess we can put it here for now.
It went inside.
Is he on the street?
Good. Try again.
Siam is my junior brother. I have love for Siam. Appreciate what he does for the Masjid. Big time. نبدأ. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So today seems and feels like it's not even a Friday. Coming here seems like it's a Sunday because I didn't give the khutbah here today. And the place where I gave the khutbah at, I'm not having a dig at that place because they have the challenges of what we have as well, where you have people on the Sunnah and trying to be on the Sunnah and spread the Sunnah. But at the same time, it's just the nature of Islam in some of our masjids, and most of the masjids. I've been to some masjids in Sudan and in Egypt where the people were connected to a group called Ansarullah. Ansarullah. That was a group. I don't know if they still exist. I would think they exist. I was very young, and when I used to travel there, I was super impressed with how you feel the Sunnah when you go into the masjids. For Salat, the people would pay attention, the adhan, everything. You would see them trying to practice Islam to the best of their ability, according to the blueprint and the template of success that the Prophet left for us and his companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu anhum. And I have to say, because the truth is said, when As-Salafiyya started spreading within the African-American community back in East Orange, New Jersey, it was the same way. People were really quick to try to implement and practice the Sunnah. Now, granted, there were other things where people were falling short of the mark. Al-Kamal Allah. There were other social issues and other things that we as a people need to address. But that thing about when a person hears the proof and they get with the program, it's a ni'mah to be a part of a masjid like that. The reason why I say this, and there's no dig at anybody, when I started the khutbah in that masjid, the way their system is that the older people or the people who have handicaps, whatever they call them, I don't know the politically correct word to describe it, the mu'awwaqeen, I don't know. They sit in front in chairs. No problem. That's their style. That's what they do. I'm not against that. But one brother who was severely facing some mobility issues, he came in about 5 minutes after the khutbah started. So his chair was all the way in the front. And there were chairs right there by the door where he came in at. But because it's something people do all the time, you always do it that way, you always do it that way. Sometimes I want to drive from my house, I go around, and I want to go straight, but I turn in here because my mind is like that, like I'm going to the masjid. I don't want the masjid. I want to go all the way past that road, but that's how we are. We get used to it. So during the khutbah, they started walking the man up. 2 people and a man made the third. So it interrupted everything. It made everybody in the masjid look and move over, and it made me look. And then I started addressing the issue. And I said, look, right by the door is a chair. Put the brother right there and let him sit in the chair. not being rough and tough, but telling the community, this is the thing about knowledge. That's basic. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Allah wants ease for our brother. Why bring him all the way through? He can perhaps trip on someone, la samah Allah. And then we have a bigger problem when all they had to do was put him in the chair. I think one of the big reasons behind that is the khutbah crowd in most masjids are not like the crowd of the people who come for the lessons. The people who come for the lessons, they learn more. Now, I don't want to confuse anyone. I want to make it very clear. We have scholars of this religion, and I'm not a scholar. But I look at all of you, and we look at each other, and we're making a ta'awun ala al-birri wa taqwa. We're encouraging each other. We're advising each other. If I ever make a mistake and I say something that's incorrect, a brother from the audience is saying, no, it's Abu Sufyan. So in no way am I a scholar. None of us are scholars. But we're trying to cooperate. Anybody who hears my voice, any of you brothers, sisters, we have to really push off of ourselves ignorance so that we could try to practice the religion in the right way. Again, you don't have to be the khatib. You don't have to be the man who leads the salat in Ramadan at Taraweeh. You don't have to memorize all of Sahih Bukhari, but learn enough of the religion. Do you know that people come into most masjids and just sit down without praying 2 rakat? That's from the basic that your little kid has to know that. Your little child has to know. When you come into the masjid, don't sit down until you pray 2 rakats. But the vast majority of Muslims won't do that. Someone may say, oh, that's not that important. But no, that's important. The whole religion is important. So I want to encourage myself. I want to encourage all of you. I want to encourage our wives, our women. We have to learn the religion. We have to read about the deen. And now with social media and all of this stuff in Google, you can fact check to find out what's correct and what's not correct very easily. So today I wanted to come to you to share this thing about how Allah in the Quran and in the religion that he sent Muhammad with, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, puts a lot of emphasis on knowledge. And then you have those ayat that we all know, you have those ahadith. But I want to share with you a few ayat about the stories of some of the prophets and the messengers in the Quran that clearly show and indicate knowledge will set you free. Knowledge will give you a miza and make you better than many people. But people worship Allah and they don't know what they're doing by any stretch of the imagination. They can find themselves liking something, thinking it's right, and it's not. Hating something, thinking it's wrong, but it's right. But it's how their computer is working. It's how they are thinking. From those ayat that we want to share is the statement that is clear, and we have to consider this ayat from different angles. Allah mentioned in the Quran, يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Allah has raised those people from amongst you who believe and those people who have been given knowledge levels. So the believers have been raised above the non-Muslims who are like cattle. They're just running around, eating and drinking, having children, working and just surviving. Many of them don't take the time out to ask, why was I created and what's going to happen? So the believer, regardless of his level or her level of application, we have that enough. So we've been raised above them. And then from amongst the believers, those people who have been given knowledge have also been raised up. Knowledge, beauty, strength, those are all superlatives that people respect. And the opposite of that, people look down on it, even in the animal kingdom. So listen to the ayah that we want to show. Knowledge. Allah said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to us, يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا أُحِلَّ لَهُمْ قُلْ أحل لكم الطيبات وما علمتم من الجوارح مكلبين تعلمونهن مما علمكم الله فكلوا مما أمسكنا عليكم واذكروا اسم الله عليه واتقوا الله إن الله سريع الحساب. Ya Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your companions ask you, what is halal for them to eat? This is one of the ayat that talk about the dietary laws, meats. Allah said that, tell them, what is halal for them to eat are the animals that you train to hunt. Falcons, whatever animals, birds that go and hunt things, the dogs that go and hunt things. If those animals that you train to hunt, if they catch that animal, it's permissible for you to eat that animal, provided you slaughter it before it dies. Now, if your dog and your trained animals killed them and ate them, and you found them, you can't eat them. Allah said, and fear Allah, fear Allah. Verily, Allah is quick to hold people to account. The shahid from the ayat here is, he said, al-jawarih mukallibin, even the dog that's been trained with knowledge in Islam is raised up by the knowledge that he has. In our religion, unlike this society where people are walking around with dogs, hip-hop culture, they used to have these dogs as an example of manliness, ar-rujula. In Islam, we don't like dogs. You can't have a dog in your house. You have a dog in your house for one of three reasons. Outside of those three reasons, your salat will be taken away every day. I don't know about you, but I think I speak for you when I say, if I ever see a commercial and the person is kissing the dog and the dog is licking them in the mouth, I say, ugh. Although I grew up liking dogs. Before I was a Muslim, anytime I found a stray dog, I would bring him home and say, Ummi, let me have the dog. She would say, can't bring that dog in our house. And now she has a dog. She has a dog. That drives you crazy if you were to my mother. The point is, in Islam, the dog is disliked. Rasulullah mentioned sallallahu alaihi wasallam, lola anna al-kilab ummatan amthalakum la amartu bi qatliha. If it wasn't for the fact that dogs are a nation like you human beings, they have a role, they have a function. He said, if it wasn't for that, I would command people to kill a dog. But they have a role. They have mothers and fathers. So you can have a dog for hunting. You can have a dog to help you to take your sheep and your camels and things like that. And you can have a dog for protection. But even that, you don't bring the dog in the house. Jibril didn't come to the Prophet's house, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for a number of days. Rasulullah said, something's wrong. And then Jibril finally came. And from the door, he said, Ya Muhammad, there's a dead dog in your house. Some scholars said that hadith is weak. Some said it's authentic. The point here is, the dog that has been trained is not like the regular dog. So when Allah says, يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ, even the dog is raised up. What about the human being? Why do people like parrots? Parrot is a babaga, right? Babaga. The parrot can talk. Why do people like monkeys? Give them a choice. You want a monkey as a pet or you want a pig? People can say, I don't want a pig. The pig, I will be that because he's dirty. As for the monkey, it seems like it has some intelligence. Now, we're not going to stretch this out and say we come from monkeys now. We're not going to say that, but people respect strength, beauty, and intelligence. So if the dog will be raised up, surely, Bani Adam can be raised up. Another ayat of the Quran that shows this, the famous incident that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard about those three men who came to his households and asked his women folk, may Allah be pleased with all of them, what does Rasulullah do when he's in the house? And they said he does this, he does that, and it wasn't a lot. They looked at it as being a little. One of them said, as for me, I'm going to fast all the time. The other one said, I'm going to pray all night long. The other one said, I'm going to avoid getting married to women. When that news hit the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went and he said, what is wrong with some people who are saying this? He said, إنما أنا أعلمكم بالله وأخشاكم له. I have more knowledge about Allah than all of you. And I have more khawf. I'm afraid of Allah more than all of you. And because of that knowledge and that fear, because of both of those, you should pay attention. He said, I pray, I go to sleep and I pray. I fast, I break my fast. I get married to women. So the point here is, knowledge is from the sunnah of the best human beings, the prophets and the messengers. They are not ignorant people. They're the most knowledgeable people. And even the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't have any problem with learning the Quran from Jibreel. He didn't have a problem with that, learning how to read, what to read, learning about different issues. He didn't have an issue with that. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-ulama warathatul anbiya. The scholars are the ones who have inherited from the prophets and the messengers. So when we try to learn our deen, a little at a time, no matter how little it is, when you try to push off of yourself that Islam of a taqleed, blindly following, the Islam of my father said, my mother said, the Islam my sheikh said, the Islam of my jama'ah said, when you push that off and you try to learn, you are practicing and following the ways of the prophets and the messengers in al-Islam. So one of the best forms of ibadah in al-Islam, well, it's a prerequisite. You have to do this before you can do anything. And that is, you have to get knowledge. We have to get knowledge of the basics of our deen. That is the miraf of the Nabi and those prophets and messages from him. Allah mentioned in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Those people who truly fear Allah are the people who have knowledge. You don't have knowledge, you won't fear Allah the right way. You'll fear Allah and worship Allah based upon ignorance. And you'll make yourself more tired unnecessarily, and you'll even punish yourself. Is it from al-Islam for a man to refuse getting married to a woman? Is it from al-Islam for a man to whip himself in order to show that he loves Allah? And had he been on the scene when that happened or that happened, he would have proven his mettle. That's ignorance. That's not knowledge. That is not knowledge. So Allah raises people with knowledge. It is from the sunnah of all of the prophets and messengers. And when you try to learn, you're taking the inheritance of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all of his brothers. And there's a lot of knowledge. And when I say knowledge, again, there are a lot of aspects of knowledge. And there's a lot of information out there. You don't have to read to learn to be a scholar. Just read to learn what you're doing. And when you hear and see something that you didn't know, don't be an enemy towards it. Be a person who has enough sense, enough deen, enough dawah, enough taqwa, diyana, to go back, look it up. If you found it was that way, then take it. If you don't agree it was that way, then come back and say, what's that about? But the ignorant person, the jahil, he's ignorant, she's ignorant. They're their own worst enemy. They're their own worst enemy because they're ignorant. They're ignorant. So knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. The next example is a historical issue. It's really important, especially in light of what's going on today. Bani Israel had a lot of prophets and a lot of messengers. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. There was a time in their history where they had a Nabi who was with them, and his name was, the Mufassirun say, and the Bible says, the Torah says, that his name is Samuel. Samuel. What is Samuel in Arabic?
Samuel.
Amwell?
Samuel.
Samuel. I thought it was something like that. So the people who gave tafsir of the Quran said it was Samuel, because Samuel was there with Dawood and Sulaiman. Bani Israel, they asked this Nabi, this Rasul, who has been divinely sent to them by Allah, the one with the knowledge, the one with the most taqwa. Allah told the story about them in the Quran. He said in the Quran, after they asked him, make for us a leader. Make for us someone from amongst us who will be a king over us. You're the Nabi and you're the Rasul. And they have a consistent issue of doing this. They asked Musa, Musa, who killed that man? There's a body. We don't know who killed him. Who killed him? Musa told them, Allah orders you to slaughter a cow. All they had to do was slaughter the cow, but they asked questions. Do you think do you play with us? You think why you at? That's how they are. They asked this Nabi, make us a king, a leader. He said, as Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيُّهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ بَعَثَ لَكُمْ طَالُوتَ مَلِكًا قالوا أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ الْمُلْكُ عَلَيْنَا وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْهُ وَلَمْ يُؤْتَ سَعَةً مِنَ المال قال إن الله اصطفاه عليكم وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم إن الله يؤتي من يشاء. This is an important ayat to learn knowledge. How a person is raised with Allah, not with the people. The people look at things in a different way. People look at who has the biggest car. People look at Rasulullah told us sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Inna Allaha la yanzuru ila su'rikum wa la ila ajsamikum walakin Allaha yanzuru ila qulubikum wa ila a'malikum. Allah, when he looks at you, he doesn't look at your shapes. He doesn't look at your bodies. This one is tall, that one is short, this one is slim, that one is overweight, this one is black, that one is white. This one is a man, that one is a woman. Allah is the Musawwir. He created, he knows what he's doing. He doesn't look at that to say who's better than the next person. That has nothing to do with it in and of itself. Now, if that person was created and he has some kind of defect, some kind of handicap, and he was patient with that, he lost his sight. He was patient and he has sabr and he was shakir. Now that condition makes him better than other people. But Allah doesn't look at your sexes and the size of the people. He doesn't look at the car, the house. Having nice clothes is from Al-Islam. To have a nice stove is from Al-Islam. Allah is beautiful and he loves beauty. But in and of itself, it's not important. It's not important. The companions, some of them barely had any clothes. May Allah be pleased with them. Listen to the ayat and what happened. They said to their Nabi, make a king for us. Their Nabi said, verily Allah has chosen as a king over you Talut. Talut is Saul. Saul. What's Saul in Arabic?
Talut?
Oh, yeah, Talut. Talut is Saul. He's in the Bible. He's in the Torah. A serious prophet from Bani Israel. A prophet from jihad. And we love Talut. And we love the believers who are with Talut. Wallahi, we love them. It's from our Islam that we love. We see them as the people who preceded us. They're our brothers in Al-Islam. Allah, Talut, your Nabi has chosen for you Talut. Bani Israel said, how is he going to be the king over us when we have more rights to the kingdom and power than he? He doesn't have any money and we have more money than him. The Nabi said to them, verily Allah has divinely chosen him over you. Allah chose him and Allah has increased him with abundant knowledge and al-jism. Jism here means he was strong. The prophets and the messengers from their way is their people were strong. They're not out of shape. They're not overweight. They're not like that because they used to have to carry the responsibility of the community. They were strong. So Allah has honored him over you. How? He gave him knowledge. Not the car, not the color, not the family, not your jins, not your jinsiyah, what passport you have. With the Muslims right now, your passport in some Muslim circles, your passport means more to people than your Islam. With some Muslims, the passport that you heard. I heard with my own ears Muslims who were in blessed countries say, I would take that American passport that you have any day than the one that I have. And they were in a blessed place. A blessed place. That passport, you won't be asked about it, Yom Al-Qiyamah. Not like that. So it's knowledge. That's the second situation with the prophets and the messengers. The third one is Musa. Musa. Someone said to Musa when he was on the minbar talking to Bani Israel, someone said, Musa, are you the most knowledgeable person on the face of the earth? According to his understanding, not arrogance, according to his understanding. He was telling the people, Allah spoke to me directly. I was telling the people, telling them different things. The man said, are you the most knowledgeable person in the earth? He said, yes. I don't know anyone more knowledgeable than me. Allah revealed to him, no. We have a slave who has more knowledge than you, more knowledge about some things, What did Musa do? He prepared himself to go out to look for that knowledge. He prepared himself, like you brothers, sisters come to the Masjid, like some people travel, go to another country, Egypt. I know people used to go to Syria before all of this drama. People go to the Gulf states to do what? To learn the religion. And this is a serious thing. It used to be, even till this day, with a lot of English-speaking Muslims who want to learn their religion. That's the way of the prophets and the messengers, man. Humbling oneself. When you hear someone has some knowledge, you want to go out for that knowledge. Listen, Musa went on the trip, him and Yusha, a young prophet and Nabi from Bani Israel. When they came to Khidr, Musa saw him, he saw the signs. Musa said, Assalamu alaikum. Khidr said, and do you have salams where you come from? There's salams in the land that you come from? He said, Menenta, who are you? He said, Musa. Khidr said, Musa from Bani Israel? He had knowledge. You're Musa from Bani Israel? He said, yes, I'm Musa from Bani Israel. Jittu litu'allimni mimma ulimt rushda. I came for you to teach me what you've been taught. The knowledge that you've been given, I came to learn. He said, you won't be patient with me. And then the story. But the point is, Musa prepared his stuff, prepared his boy. They went out on a journey to look for knowledge in the religion. Don't leave yourself just not knowing. My mother is a Muslim, my father is a Muslim. Don't do that. Because the prophets and the messengers were like that. Yusuf. All of that drama that happened to Yusuf, going to prison, all of that thing. And then when he interpreted the dream for the king, he interpreted all of that stuff that happened to Yusuf. And then towards the end of the story, he interpreted the dream for the king. When the king saw that he interpreted the dream, knowledge, a special kind of knowledge. And some people, they put their foot in the realm of knowledge that it shouldn't be. There's an authentic hadith that means anyone who didn't have prior knowledge of medicine, a tib, he doesn't have any knowledge, and then he tries to cure someone and he harms him, he's dhamin. He's responsible for harming him. Because you're not qualified. People talking about COVID is not real. Don't take medicine. Don't do that. What are you doing? People that I know were telling other people who have bipolar, schizophrenia, don't take those medicines because big pharmaceutical companies are just making a lot of money. And it's true, they're making a lot of money off of us. But you're not a tabib, man. You're not qualified to talk about things like that. So there are those people, when it comes to the dreams, people take them, they go to the dream, and he's just talking kalam farik. Some people know, some people don't know. But the point is, he had knowledge. The Aziz wanted to raise Yusuf high up, give him a special position in his kingdom. Yusuf said no. He said to the man, Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. Just put me responsible for the khazan. What is that again? Huh?
Treasury.
The treasure. You know where they're going to keep the food and stuff like that. They're going to keep the corn. They're going to keep the wheat. Put me in charge of that, because it's going to come 7 years of opulence. And then 7 years, we're going to have a drought. I'm going to distribute this stuff. Why put me over that? Because I have knowledge and I'm trustworthy. Knowledge and trustworthy. Not because my father's Yaqub, not because I have so many other brothers, not because I interpreted the dream, because I have knowledge and I'm trustworthy. That's our religion. And these stories and the mentioning of these stories, they're consistent and they're bringing home the idea, get knowledge about the religion. I ask all of you by Allah, all of you by Allah. Allah is capable of doing anything. Allah can give any one of us $1 million, $10 million today. Today. He's capable. So don't think that that's Azizun Allah. If someone came and handed each and every one of us your passport with a visa, and you're going to go and make Umrah. Do we know how to make Umrah? Most people wait until the time to make Umrah. And I'm not going to say necessarily that's blameworthy. Not necessarily. But when you wait to go do the thing, you won't get that real good feeling, that wow factor out of your Umrah, because you're trying to stuff in so much information, because there's not a lot to do, but there's a lot to say. There's not a lot to know, but there's a lot to say. And this is from our deen. Why wait? Why wait? And that's just an example. Get knowledge of the religion. Learn how to marry someone off. Learn how to wash a dead body. If we had to wash the dead body, do we know what we're doing? Are we going to be like the people who wash the dead bodies, and then when they get the dead body, they push the stomach and make stuff come out? You don't have to do that, brother. Who wants to see that? Who wants to experience that? All sorts of things you'll find people doing. And these are the things that we need to know. The sister, we need to wash a dead body in our community. We have a sister who can do that. Do we have a sister who can do that? You're going to already be nervous because it's a dead body. It's like slaughtering. When you first slaughter the animal, you're nervous. It's not something that we do. You're nervous. But once you do it once, twice, it's easy. Washing a dead body. You're nervous because it's a dead body. It's not TV. There's a real dead body in front of you. And then once you start washing it, you get used to it. Do we know how to do that? And it's fardu al-kifaya on us. The last issue that we want to mention, Khwani, is what Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. Shahid Allahu annahu la ilaha illahu wal malaikatu wa ulul ilm qa'iman bil qist. La ilaha illa huwa al-azizul hakim. Allah bears witness. Also the malaika bear witness. Also, those people who are endowed with knowledge, they bear witness that there is no God, no deity worthy of worship except Allah. He is only one. And he, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is Al-Aziz Al-Hakim. It's another one of the many ayahs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bore witness, and Allah is enough to bear witness by himself. If Allah bears witness to something, he's enough. But he also caused the angels to bear witness to his oneness and his tawheed and the right that he has to be worshipped. And he also mentioned the ayat, those people who are endowed with knowledge. And they could be us. Doesn't have to just mean the scholars. It's regular people who know the importance of La ilaha illallah. So in that aspect of al-Islam, we're better, inshallah, than many of the creation. Those people who don't know that, from the non-Muslims for sure, and some Muslims who don't know the meaning of La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, they don't understand what that is. So the call here and the encouragement here today, in today's class, especially in this masjid, we have to take it easy again with our community, and we all have to try to do a better job in different aspects of al-Islam. And there are a lot. All of us have to encourage each other to do that. Okay, we're going to stop here, inshallah. If you brothers have any questions, you can put your questions forward. Any comments, any corrections, it's okay. What time is the adhan?
Another 15 minutes.
15 minutes. No questions to you, brothers? Is it me or is it hot in here? It's hot, right? It's Florida. Okay. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey, Ikhwani, between you and me,